Hello and welcome to my first video walkthrough. In this video, I'll show you how you can create this low poly house from scratch. I used Blender 3D to build this, but you can also follow along using any other 3D modeling program that you're comfortable with. I'll try my best to explain what I did, but bear with me as it is my first time doing this. So first we start a new Blender file scene, and then I set screen card so you can exactly see the commands I'm pressing. I then added a background image of a house which I obtained from pixabay.com. This allows me to use the image for free without any copyright problems. I then added ground plane and I start to block out the shape of our house. So I first set the height of the house to be around 3 meters, and then I extrude out again and put another 3 meters so to represent the 2 stories of the house. I then scale the house along the X to get the length of a house that I want. And I moved the back of the house along the y-axis to get how deep I want my house to be. I then add a loop cut right in the middle of that box, and then extrude the top a little bit, and then pull the middle one up to represent the basic blocking of our house. Now I'll go in and UV unwrap our house. So basically this is like where I'm selecting the vertices right now. You can sort of imagine me using a scissors and cutting along these lines and then unwrapping them. So this makes texturing a lot easier when we UV unwrap them. So as you can see, our cut pieces are now in a UV image. So now we can create an image and color and add our textures and things within those bounds, and the texture will show up as such in our model. The little one that's been scaled is the bottom of the house. The reason why I put it so small is because it doesn't really we won't really see that part of the house, so it really doesn't matter. As for everything else, it should be fine. Next, I create the roof. So I duplicate just the top two, just the part of the roof, and then I select the right on the top of the top vertice of the top edge of the house, and then I select the entire thing and scale it up a little bit, and also extrude up a little bit as well, basically to give that roof a bit of thickness. And there we have our roof. And it's already looking like a neat house just the way it is. So we set materials for the house. I gave the house I set roof texture, and I also set a wall texture for the house just for now. So now I duplicate the entire house model again, and then I move vertices around just to fit the shape of a garage. So now we can start to duplicate the same house model to represent each part of the house that we see in the image. So I duplicate again, and then I rotate the house, and then do the same thing, just move the vertices in. But in this case, I think I noticed that I can just use a mirror modifier here. Just use the mirrored image, and obviously because my pivot point is somewhere else, I had to redo that again. Okay. And now I move the vertices as thin as possible to make the house, to represent the house in the same way as seen in our reference image. So here I had some issue with double vertices. I think I should have looked at that much better, but I'm now deleting all those vertices again and refilling, making mesh a little bit cleaner. But I don't think you should have this problem. It's just something I probably missed somewhere. So yeah, basically just pushing and pulling vertices around of the same house model, and yeah, so I think right now I'm working on that final bit of the front part that you see there, the porch. So just moving into place, and yeah. So it's looking good the way it is. Basically I moved that vertex down, but I decided I want to go with the roof similar to the way I see in the reference image. So I wanted to have that sort of I don't know how to say it, that corner bend thing. I don't know how to say it properly, but yeah, that thing. It's in the reference image. So yeah, that we have that nice little corner working out well. I didn't want to do it again on the other side, so I just deleted half and just use the mirror modifier just to save us the job of having to do it again. And there we have our nice looking porch. So now I add the front porch itself, the ground porch, and this is just a cube scaled. Nothing really fancy about that. And now we start. I then moved on to doing the windows. So for the windows, I basically added 4 loop cuts and then scaled them by like 80% each. I made sure that they're both equal because I want the windows to be the same size. So I didn't just scale randomly. I did like scale down by 0.8, that kind of, or something like that for both, so that the windows would fit perfectly. So all the windows are the same size in this case. For the garage, I just deleted the front face and I just added loop cuts from the bottom, 2 loop cuts on the bottom, and 2 loop cuts on the top of the roof as well. And then basically I just joined them. So here I'm just copying the exact X location of the loop cuts, and I just, so that allows me to join them using a straight line. Here I'm having trouble really finding where the loop cut goes. And there we have our garage. And now we're starting to, oh, I still got one more window to go. And yep, we have the window and our doorway. So basically we have our main house blocked out. Alrighty then. So to add the windows of the house, I used an add-on called the window generator, but you can model these if you want. I just wanted to save a lot of time by just doing it in a very easy way. So you can download the window generator using Google or something like that. I don't know if the latest Blender has this window generator already installed, but it allows you to customize your window in any different way, shape or form that you want. So I just customized some of the parameters and then just duplicated them all throughout the house, and that allows me to create a window in literally about 5 minutes. And sometimes, yeah, for the last window I had to move it out a little bit and manually move the vertices because I think the panels disappear as soon as you move the window. So I also add a garage door. The garage door is just just a plain cube. I didn't do anything fancy, but I did add some little designs. This is something I just sort of made up on the go. I didn't really want to follow the reference, so I just selected random boxes. And then using those boxes, I just extruded them in and then scaled them down. So just basic garage, a basic little garage, but then it didn't really equal up nicely, so I just moved the vertices again, and it came out quite nicely, I guess. Well, in my opinion, I don't know if it's really all that good, but it's just good enough for me. I then created another cube and then scaled it to fit the size of a pole, or the wooden pole thing, and then added to support structure things, which is also just cubes. And then I basically beveled the corners because we don't want that sharp edge. Using the reference image, I can see that the edges are relatively a bit smooth, so just go to each corner and just smooth it out a little bit. Of course, another way of doing this is adding a subdivision surface, but since I'm going for a low poly model, I want to I don't really want to touch subsurface as much, but I do end up using subsurf anyway on the fence. So here I'm just duplicating hole everywhere according to the reference image, and finally I add the fence. And for the fence edges again were too sharp, but this time I chose to use the subdivision surface because actually I could have used the bevel method as well. I think I was just experimenting with different ways of doing it. I didn't really, but I don't think it should really cause memory problems. It should still be quite low poly. If it ever is an issue, we could just get rid of just delete it again and create a cube and then add bevel. But I just want to demonstrate. I think I want to demonstrate two different methods of adding smooth looking objects without much sharp corners. Alright, so we added the fence beam, and then now I have to add those vertical stick things. And I scaled it down a little bit more. And basically so once that's done, I added an array modifier. So this basically allows you to duplicate the same thing over an array. So I didn't have to duplicate them manually, it's already done for me on the spot. So I just go in and manually position them. So now our house is looking quite good overall. And now we need to add some stairs, I think. At the front porch, just a small one would be good, I think. Just a little bit of detail to make it even better. And now we're going to add those little blue things that we see on the side of the house. So basically I was going to model a very simple one here. Start with a cube and then just scale it to look like a very thin piece of log. And then after that duplicate again and then rotate 90 degrees. Make it very, very small and also very thin. Position it towards the top, then add an array modifier. And then just put it all the way down to the length of the thing and then rotate it in edit mode with a slight angle. So you have that nice little divot in the model. And starts to look like how it is in the reference image. So that's quite good. So I just set a basic placeholder texture and add a color to it, just like I see in the reference image. And then I just go through the model and do it, add that, I don't know what that's called, but anyways, add that thing to the rest of the house near every window. So I'm just pressing Alt D. In Blender that's like duplicating without using much memory. So if I change the material on one of them, all of them will be affected. Not only material, but even if I change the model, all of them would be affected as well. So now I finished everything. That's pretty good. Now it's time to start working on the door. The door is just going to be a cube. That's it. And I don't really work further on the door other than that. I think I will come back later on and work on the door. Now I'm just going to add that support thing that's around the house. I really don't know the terms for this for the house. I'm just saying random stuff. So if I'm a little bit confusing, please let me know. But I'm just adding that support structure for the door. And making the door height to fit as required. And that looks good. Now we're going to add some more loops around the top of that beam, and we're going to add little windows on the side. I think it'll be a nice feature, and it is generally a feature of these types of homes, I think. So I just fit the door to that, and now we're going to close that gap up. Maybe we could do that by a model, but I'm just going to do it by adding a cube. This is a slightly lazy way of modeling. I know I should go in an edit mode and then do it properly, but I'm just adding a random cube in there. Probably not a good modeling technique, but anyways. Now I duplicate that cube again and make it very thin and very long, and this will represent our window. So just the little side windows that you see in houses. And now I just basically go in and give it a glass shader. I should be focusing on the shader a little bit later, but I just wanted to do it now so that I don't have to think about doing it later. So here I added a subsurface scattering to the support beam, and the main reason is that I wanted to get that smooth look. Doing a plain bevel would have been a little bit tedious in this case, because there's the edges here. I don't know, some of them just doesn't work properly, that I found. So I just go ahead and subsurface and then add loops around just to get rid of that that sort of awkward look that you saw there. And the result is it's a very smooth looking model. And now to finish off the door, I just add a basic design to the door. I didn't really follow the reference image as much, maybe because I wanted to do this under an hour. I just sort of rushed this part, and I think I just created random loops and then select 6 of those squares and then scale them in, and that's basically represented my door, and then gave it a door material. And our house is now pretty much done. We have the full model ready. So here is a quick little animation that I prepared of our house, and it looks quite good. I didn't really focus on the back or the sides, but I'm quite happy with that one. So that's it for this part. Although it is a bit lazy, I have been using this modeling technique to quickly build houses for my own films. I hope this video has helped you learn ways to build a house in 3D. Join me for the next part where I'll show how I went from our 3D model to this image. So all that texturing, shading and lighting stuff. This model is free for download and the link is in the description. Please subscribe, like and all that other stuff for more videos. Thanks for watching.